Hey, this is Adam Huxema from Projection Hub, and today I am going to show you a set of projections that a client sent to us as their their starting point, and then we went through and helped them create a full set of projections. And what I like to do in these videos is just kind of show you what clients are coming to us with as a starting point, and just kind of talking through some of the things that I like about what they've put together and some of the things that maybe could be improved as just an opportunity for you as you're trying to work on your own projections, a way for you to kind of learn some best practices and some tips. So today we have a manufacturing startup that was seeking a $2 million investment. And so a couple things that I'll point out. First of all, the first thing you'll notice is this financial projection is in Word document format. So definitely when you're seeking a couple $1,000,000 investment, probably not expecting to see those projections in Word format. Excel is definitely the standard, and you'll kind of see why there's a lot of benefits to using Excel, an Excel model. And I think, again, that's kind of why they came to us, because they probably realized that they may have used this projection model initially and didn't have a whole lot of luck in raising capital, and so kind of said, hey, can you take what we've already put together into a full model? Another thing that I want to point out here in this first table, you have a 5-year production schedule. And so just kind of from the very core of the way I think about projections, what they're doing here is they're assuming that production of vehicles, in this case it's vehicles, production of vehicles is what is going to drive sales. And I'm a little bit concerned that may not be the case here. Really, does the supply of these vehicles that is produced, are they going to sell all of those vehicles? Is that really what drives sales, or is it demand for the underlying product that's going to drive sales? If it's demand and not supply that's driving sales, then this model really needs to be thought of as, how are we going to drive customers to actually make purchase orders? How are they going to order a vehicle? And then you're going to have to kind of layer that in, the demand in, with what you can supply from a production schedule. So that's one thing I wanted to point out, is that, kind of just from the very beginning, I don't really agree with the methodology of using supply as a driver of your financial model. Now, on to this kind of profit and loss at a glance table. I actually really do like this. I think it's useful. You see key metrics, annual units produced, sales, gross profit, operating costs, and the profitability for each year in a pretty easy to understand table. So I do like that. And then you get into the unit economics. So what does it cost to build one vehicle, and how profitable, and what's the gross profit margin look like for that one unit? I think that's useful for any manufacturing startup, whether you're making vehicles or widgets. You need to know what it takes to produce that unit, and what your margin is going to look like. And then we jump into kind of their first year prototyping expenses. So the first year they're not selling anything, they're just building a prototype, and what their expenses will be for that first year. You can see that totals $400,000 here. And then finally we get into this summary of investment returns, which I actually think is also a pretty nice little table, pretty simple and straightforward. It is a 5-year look, so they're going to look at 364 units sold. They're looking for a $2 million investment, and that it shows what their profit margin is going to look like, and then down here a investment return $3.2 million, which they're saying you're going to get a return on your investment of 150%. Now, I don't believe that's annualized, so now that's over 5 years. So what's your annual rate of return? It doesn't look quite so compelling. So that is maybe a bit of critique here. That's really the end of this document, but I just want to look at this from an investor's perspective. What are some things that I'd be looking at? So one, I'd want to know, is there demand? Can they generate pre-orders, before I'm going to provide $2 million in funding? I want to know that you can actually sell one of these vehicles. And then what happens if you miss deadlines? What if this timeline isn't quite right? What happens if you don't hit your sales goals? So that's kind of the major critique of this model, is that, as an investor, I'd like to be able to come up here and start playing around. Well, what if you only sell, 1 unit this month, 2 units this month? Okay, what does that do to my profitability, and what does that do to my cash flow? You can't see any of that because this is just in a Word document. It's not integrated, doesn't change any of these numbers here. And so that's a real issue. And then probably the other major question I'd have, and because this right here is really only an income statement, there's no cash flow statement or balance sheet, so I can't see, even if you met these projections, you might still run out of cash, because manufacturing is a cash intensive business, and so you might sell, but you might have to pre-order so much of your inventory and to be able to actually produce these units, and then it may take you a while to get paid, and so there's really a question of whether, just because you're profitable, you may run out of cash, and we can't see that in this model. So again, kind of final summary here is that you need a 3-statement: cash flow statement, balance sheet and income statement, financial model, when you're going out to raise $2 million. That's my feedback on this model. Just to mention, in the description of this video, we do have a manufacturing template, financial projection template, that's available, and I'll link to that. That could be a good starting point for you if you have a manufacturing startup or existing business that you're trying to create a financial model for. So I'll link to that in the video. And then, this is what we like to do. We like to give feedback on financial models. So if you have a projection of your own that you've done some work on, and just would like someone to take a look and give some, honest feedback before maybe sending that to an investor or to a lender, that's what we're here for. We'd love to be able to do that. So just you can email us at support@projectionhub.com, and we will be happy to take a look at that. All right, thanks.